Good morning, everybody. This is Grant. Today we're covering a bunch of updates. I feel like we've been long overdue for updates, especially to the Spark Sites owners, but also to the Goals and Gratitude group and anyone that's been following the Spark journey for any length of time. And I think Nicole is going to be joining us here momentarily. We'll see. But Nicole Ray has joined. Add to the stream. Let's add her. There she is.
Hola.
Hola. Hola.
I got my Harry Potter glasses on, and you got your cool guy glasses on.
Is that what we're calling these? Cool guy glasses?
Definitely.
Okay, so updates. Let's start with marketing. What is going on? What experiments have we been running? What's been working and what has not been working in marketing?
So, Grant, you've been a busy CEO. Let me tell you, like, you've been building websites and testing ads. And so when I think of testing and marketing, I think of all the different things that we're trying to put out to see what responds and then kind of go from there. So A/B testing, marketing. What else has been going on with marketing? In-person events. That's the best. Wow. That's the best thing that anyone can do. And that's what we keep coming back to. You have to shake hands and get out there in the community. How's the audio going to work? Because I'm echoing big time.
You're echoing?
Mm-hmm. Does it sound like that to you? Okay, it stopped echoing. I think you have to be on mute.
Got it.
But you tell us, Grant, like you've been doing all of the like A/B testing with Facebook ads. We haven't quite crossed over to Google ads, but I know we're about to. But like, what are you seeing?
Okay, so I don't know about A/B testing, but we're running a series of ads. So in the end, I fully believe like what has worked. I saw Alex Hormozy actually do a post and he said, being smart with my money simply means I spend less than I earn and I invest everything into stuff that grows. And I think the tough thing about small business owners is they don't know what grows. And they struggle with that. And so like today, we have several ads going. One is for a side business that I'm not ready to reveal to everyone that has nothing to do with websites. And I'm testing myself on, can I do something that has no attachment to Spark? The industry itself has intrinsic demand, and can we generate leads on that? And the answer so far is a whopping no. The last 24 hours, or yeah, it's been about 20 hours, I think. We haven't had a single peep. So it's like, okay, well, I got to get out there and test that. So that is a series of Facebook ads targeted towards the area. And we're running that experiment of those ads in the region of Central Florida, Lakeland, because the nature of that business is offline. There's so many side hustles going around with young people, which I agree with, because a lot of these tech jobs are fading and going away and they're looking for other stuff. We've talked about for like your boys, a bunch of like manual labor jobs. And that's actually choice these days because it pays so much more than tech jobs, which is a wild thought that I never thought I'd say or think about. So anyways, the side business ad is going out and it has produced nothing. The ad budget for that, I think, is $75 a day right now. And the geography is just like our area. Now, we have another set of ads, which we have 21 ads in this Meta ads campaign. And it's all for the website company. And, challenging ourselves that like, do we know ads or not? Do we know marketing or not? And so challenging myself with that question all the time. If we're helping people, we got to be able to produce results. So we came up with a new offering, $35 a month, get started for $35 with your AI website. And then when you see that and inevitably are less than thrilled with that design, you're going to realize I need a designer. And so our designers come with a certain amount of edits for that for free. And so we've been running traffic to that, and we can drive traffic. And so I think I have it down to look at the analytics, but we have something like 300 clicks, and the budget for that is $75 a day. And that's a nationwide campaign because I'm trying to market that beyond our current market, which is Central Florida. Basically, we have clients all over, but mostly people know us in Central Florida. So can I drive interest through an ad? Now I modeled, this is a tool that we've been talking about, the Meta Ads library. Now, did you want to take a second and speak to that? Like, have you used that before?
Oh yeah, as soon as I found out that I could peep other people's ads to see what they look like, I was in the Meta Ads library, but a lot of people don't know about it. A lot of people don't know that it exists and that you could go to any company and see what kind of ads they're running right now. So if you are a small business owner and or a marketing coordinator, it doesn't matter if you're in charge of any kind of ad budget or social media, you can look. I don't. The URL is like Meta Ads library. Actually, Google that or search that, and you can type in the company that you're curious about, who's in your industry, in your niche, and you want to know, dude, what's working for them, because they're at the next level that I want to get to. So they're more than likely running ads. So if you haven't already, it is such an in to see what is happening with some of these mega corporations that have bigger budgets. And sometimes it's not always huge corps. It could be just another person who's better at ads, but like
Local competitor or something.
yeah, you want to see what other people are doing. You want to
Yeah.
see what's working, what's not. So we take, that's one of the steps of research that we do before we start running ads, is we'll look and see what kind of ads are going on for whatever it is that we're running ads for, whether it's a client or our own business. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So what we did is we looked at what Alex Hormozy was doing with the school ads, SKOOL. And, the ads I've seen, he's just got hundreds, dozens. He's testing stuff all the time for fractions of a penny. And if you look at setting up a Facebook ad, it will actually suggest like ad variety to get a better cost per click or better cost per result. And I avoided it's called the Advantage Plus thing. I keep avoiding it and I don't know why. Maybe I'm just an old head, but I finally did the Alex Hormozy thing where I ran one ad campaign, set a daily budget of $75, but I threw in something like 20 different ads, all with the same copy, which is what they did. So in the Facebook ads library, I saw, he's got one ad campaign with something like 100 ads. They all have the same copy, just testing a different visual. And so I did this. And so far, it's actually produced. Jarrett says, I think you can also access anyone's current ads via their Facebook page. It's hidden a little, but they're there. Yes, and you can. And I think that link used to be under the 3 dots in their profile, but I think that largely went away. So we basically have an ad campaign running. It's been running for 24 hours. It's driven approximately 300 clicks, and I haven't gotten a single sale. And so the sale is only $35. So what I need to do now is look at my Google Analytics and see where they're falling off. Like, are they clicking the subscribe button, which leads to a questionnaire? Is my price point off? Do I need to change my price point, which means I'd need to change the URL and all this stuff? So I was going to start with $27, but I was told to try a different price, and I tried it, and we haven't had a single sale. So the first thing you change is your price, and the verbiage of your offer is like the thing after that. So I say that to say that's the marketing update. We're trying to put our toe in the water with things like AI. We could build our own AI platform, but I think I would rather roll it in to the service, because everyone thinks, I'll get a website, an AI website for cheap. So that's what was going on there. Why don't we change right now, Nicole? And why don't you share a little bit about our live workshop coming up?
Our favorite people in the world downtown are, belong to Cohatch. You guys probably seen us in there, but they're a co-working space, and we've hosted many lunch and learns and many workshops there because we just love the people and the vibe. And so on January 28th, we are going to be teaming up with John Sierra, and we're hosting a social media marketing workshop, which sounds very general, but what we're doing is we're breaking it up in 3 sessions. So I'll speak, Grant will speak, and then John will speak to our expertise in that area. But the overall, for Grant and I, at least, I don't know that John might end up doing his own thing when it comes to branding and how to show up on social media. But I know that we want to talk about how to post to social media so that you gain not only a follower but a customer, and how that you have to be speaking to your customers or your potential customers and how to get them into a funnel. And so I wanted to use this opportunity to make this social media more about conversions versus just creating fun content that at the end of the day we you need to have, but there needs to be some strategy behind it. So purposely, that's what we're going to be talking about. And we've already had like 8 people sign up, and I think it's been up since yesterday afternoon. So I think people are hungry in January to get some of these workshops going, and that just makes me say, okay, cool. What's the next one we're going to host? So I'm going to, carve out some time with Grant today, and we're going to look at what do we need to do in February, because this is the time when everybody is really wanting to learn. As you guys know, once summer comes and then the holidays, and so the best thing you can do as somebody like us who are speakers and trainers, take advantage of this quarter 1 and quarter 2 when people are eager, and get some butts and seats, because at the end of the day, workshops are a form of our own marketing funnel.
Yeah.
So like it works for everyone. We get, all those registrations turned into email marketing, and then we can continue to build relationships with local people. And that's, again, another priority for us always, when it comes down to it. So yeah, super simple. It's going to be on basically the second floor of Cohatch. And if you haven't been to Cohatch, this is a great opportunity to come check out the space. And see what it's all about, and then meet us. And I'm happy to say there was new names, a lot of new people that have signed up so far that I haven't necessarily recognized, but I went and did some research and checked them out, and they're local people. So I'm excited to meet some new friends.
We should do some personal. We should reach out to them as a follow-up, because you're right. Like, in business is marketing, period. You could do anything, but if you have not figured out marketing, you can't scale, you can't grow. And flip that, if you have figured out marketing, you could be in any business. And I think that we have barely scratched the surface, but I will say there are a few things we have learned. I've been doing this since 2003. And I have a 3-ring binder that I wanted to show Nicole. It's called my Web Pro Tracker. Was my first online business, and I was tracking all of the web people and the gurus and the newsletters, and I was printing everything off and seeing what they were having in common. And from that work, it was very manual. I found out that they all knew each other, and they were all hyping each other to each other's audiences. From there to this day, I've probably failed more than most people have even attempted. And I've probably succeeded on only probably 4 or 5 real wins. And one of the things I could say absolutely always works: lives. And I wouldn't even say webinars, but you could bundle webinars into that idea. In terms of getting, whether it's paid or free, if you have an LOC, a line of communication, you're winning the marketing game. And unfortunately, the guaranteed thing that works is sitting across from coffee with somebody and like sitting with them in real life. That works. But so do lives. Best ROI we've ever spent was doing something like this and doing live workshops like we're talking about, like the social media workshop. So our goal by the end of this year is to be paid speakers and coaches. So whether we're selling our own tickets or being paid to be brought in, we have to offer enormous value to show people the value we have to offer for them to want to make that exchange. Because, for the longest time, people were just like, I'm not spending $100, $200, $300 for a workshop that lasts a day, or a half day. They used to, but they're just not doing that right now. But I think that there is a blowback from doom scrolling. I think people are so sick and tired of the fake gurus, the 20-year-olds who are like, get my workout program. And it's really just their 20-year-old testosterone flowing through their bodies. People are sick of that bullshit, and they want a real conversation. So I think that they're going to be reallocating some dollars to IRL. Now, Jarrett and I have known this for a long time. We did Not Crypto Bros live on LinkedIn for the longest time. I've been going live with the Sparks Show for 369 episodes. I think I'm going to go back to that live and go back to lives, because to this day, when I spend a few weeks off of my lives, there's some weird correlation to a pipeline drying up. But when I do my lives, even if there's only like 2 people watching right now, and even though the argument against lives is that it drops down in the feed, it's not evergreen. Like if you upload a YouTube video, it's evergreen, it's there forever, and it's in the search algorithm. But if you go live on YouTube, it doesn't end up in the same search algorithm, and then there's no long tail. I still don't care. And so much of this is, I believe in this so much, and this is to you, Nicole. I was going through Alex Hormozi's ad library, and I was looking at all of his ads. And as I was saying earlier in this live, but I've been wondering, where's Alex gone since his book launch? Because he was wearing his tank top that said school on it, and he was in all the ads, and now all the ads have gone to graphic ads and AI ads. And like, you don't see much of Alex Hormozi, and I haven't. I've engaged with a ton of his content. It still doesn't come up much. Well, I was looking through his ads and I found out where he's gone. He's redirected his personal effort of his personal, now that he got the school brand up and running and launched, and it's doing its own thing, it's breathing its own life. They've kind of locked in with what they're doing. He has redirected all of his own energy into, and he says this in his ads. He said, the ad goes something like this. I was talking to Mr. Beast a week or two ago, and we were looking at the value of attention and the diminishing returns on platforms like YouTube, and the diminishing return. Not that you shouldn't do it if you've never made money on it and you're just starting out. There's still a whole world of reward in front of you. But in general, for those who have been at it, the rewards for those are declining. And they said the only thing that shows that you are real and getting a real result, because now we're starting to filter out static content or non-live content, uploaded content, because of AI. We're starting to become more and more immune because the volume of bullshit pre-made AI content is so high that the viewers are starting to put their attention only on lives. And then he gave this example. He said they did an event, and it was a stadium full of people, and they had a series of celebrities that were coming out. And they said the first round of celebrities were influencers, and they got a little bit of applause when they came out and were announced. And then the next one were straight up YouTubers, and the YouTubers got a little bit of some applause. The live streamers like Speed, like Mr. Beast, they got standing ovations. And the biggest observation was these live streamers, these Twitch streamers, are so well known, not to me, not to you, because we don't do a lot of that, but we are no longer the largest consumers of content. So all that to say, as it comes to marketing experiments, we're doing a lot and we'll never stop. But I think what's worked the best, what's felt the best, what's been the easiest lift, what appeals to our personas, and what has a weird correlation to our pipeline being full has been lives.
So you need to be going live like every day.
Let's go.
Every day.
Let's go.
Because you're right. I feel like when you start piping up your lives, we walk around town, they're like, Grant, I've seen you everywhere. What's going on? What are you doing? And then there's just more curiosity. And the next thing you know, we're starting to get calls. Yep. And so then, I'm glad you set that goal for yourself.
And I think you too. As you take on your new role at the university. And, Nicole's doing a thing, and I don't know if she's 100% set on it. You can speak up here on doing a separate account for the SEO professor. Talk about that.
I am. I created a TikTok called Professor Nicole Ray, and it's going to document my journey as a first-year professor at a private Christian university right here in Lakeland. And I went myself to go look for content for that, like what is the experience? And there was like barely anything online. I honestly couldn't find anything good. But I do think it's a way to humanize me to my students, and also include them somehow for those who want to. But honestly, it's just to tell my story of as a mid-journey woman who's kind of starting into a new career. I am alumni and I graduated from there 2017, but being like a business owner and then jumping into a professorship role where I'm teaching from a book is completely different than, than just going and teaching a workshop where I know this stuff like the back of my hand so I can speak to it. But now we got to get drilled down concepts. I have to be able to take it from here to there and actually make people understand. And so, I've always had a goal to be a better communicator. And if this isn't the way, then I don't know what is. And so, I have a lot of growth going on this year. And I think it's going to be super interesting. And so I just created a separate account on TikTok because I do think TikTok unifies the world. I think most people go to TikTok to find restaurants, to Google trends like clothing, makeup. So it doesn't matter. I just think it's a better place to share that. Now, I am going to put it on Instagram too, but my main platform is going to be TikTok for this. And then I am considering YouTube. That's why I was watching that video earlier. Like, what does it take to be on YouTube? And maybe I just show up and talk like this. I don't know. I think I need to get over that hump. The one we coach people through, which is like just get started and like learn from doing. So I may be on YouTube too, but I'm really looking forward to it because looking like a year from now and watching those videos is going to be very fun, very telling, very interesting. So that's part of the reason I want to do it too.
I also think you should experiment with lives. Final thought on an experiment I researched this morning that I want to run, and it's this. The biggest self-effacing complaint I have about marketing is how tilted towards females it is.
Oh, I hear you.
Yeah, she hears me bitch about this all the time. And so Jarrett and I have been talking about starting our own mastermind, and that's another thing we're doing in the vein of IRL stuff is rebooting up masterminds because we have a gift. Both of us share a gift. And I just ran my first one this morning with 2 local guys. It'd just be the 3 of us because we're trying to mastermind each other's service companies. Good stuff there. But I was thinking about this challenge, and I thought of a creator that I love following. She is a young 23-year-old gal, brunette, not traditional looking, just kind of normal, average body type figure, completely covered up. She's not showing skin, none of that. She's just a cute 20-something that bought a construction company or launched a construction company. She posts the journey of launching this IRL, non-info-based construction company, what her books were that week, what her day in the life is, and then like having to like switch out employees and what it's like. I thought about this and I thought, wait, I'm not a chick. My complaint about being a guy. I'm just a normal guy. I'm not particularly hot or attractive. I have nothing going for me. I'm often working out of my office. I'm not in Bali, but I mean, that's what it takes to build something, but it's just not interesting enough. And so I thought, wait, don't we have the technology to come up with an AI avatar? A representative that looks like she took over Spark Sites, that she's a normal looking gal. So I want to show this to you, Nicole, because I have it on my computer. I ran it with a platform called HeyGen. I've used HeyGen before. I gave it a prompt. It created a 15-second video of a girl jumping like this in front of a dump truck, and she was completely made up. And now we can use it as B-roll and do narration with 11 labs. And I want to run the experiment of, can we get more engagement if we create a cute little storyline of a gal who took over? Yeah, okay, go ahead, Nicole.
I'm completely against this. I am completely against this.
Why?
Because the kind of followers you get will not be the ideal clients that you want. I don't think that clickbaiting people is the right way to go about it. So I have to see it, but I'm open to all of your crazy experiments. I am your partner and I want to see it. So like, just let's show the world, but just that's what's coming up in me right away.
Well, the thing is that ideal clients versus non-ideal clients. We get into this dialogue quite a bit for any viewers checking this out later of like non-ideal clients. I'm at the point where no one even knows we're alive. And like, if I can do something that could, and here's a rough thing, and you can confirm or deny this. In the few times you and I have run similar content side by side, whenever you're on that content, I get oftentimes double, if not more, engagement. Same content, same concept, same shots. Now, I wouldn't say we've done this enough to call it a hard experiment, but in our loose experimentations, it's just a fact. So in my mind, the experiment is about if, and here's the experiment, if a female representative is running it with a bit of a storyline and we could just pump out content with her as a content creator taking over a web design company, can we get enough new eyeballs on that? I think we could probably get 10 times as much engagement easily. And I think that's my hypothesis. And with 10 times engagement, then Grant with the grenade into the bunker, Jared says. But I'm thinking if it can get even 5 times, if not 10 times as much engagement, then your hypothesis can get tested. And that is even though we may or may not have ideal clients, does more eyeballs still equal proportionately more of our target clients? Because right now we're just non-existent. We could pay for ads till the cows come home, but there's no connection. Like when we buy ads, right now we're doing this nationwide ad for AI. And this nationwide ad for AI, I'll give it to you here in 2 seconds. This nationwide ad for AI, they're seeing the ad, but they don't know who we are. So it's nearly ineffective. What's your thought there?
I mean, we looked at the ads library for the AI website builder website, and they at first had graphics, but the concept, I do understand what you're saying, but that's like saying, like Alex Hermosi grew his brand with by wearing his muscles in a nose patch thing. And then, and honestly, Layla Hermosi does not have a big as brand as he does.
Correct.
And so I think that when you start to say that women can build it faster because of the way they look, yes, but that's because the males are so hungry for that kind of look. But I don't think that that's the way to go when building a business brand. But I just think it's kind of just another way to say I don't want to build my own brand on my own, and it's not going to work.
No, but we've also talked about brand confusion.
Okay.
Right? This idea that, and you might.
So you don't think adding an AI chick isn't going to create brand confusion?
At first, but if consistency happens, it starts to At first, but if consistency happens, it starts to separate. This is the website company, and this is Grant, the coach. Jarrett says, I consider creating a separate. I'm not.
Okay.
I don't think I am. No. Jared says, I'd consider creating a separate account of an AI entrepreneur that's tech focused. Grow that account and then run story ads using the avatar, but not making the avatar the full face of Spark.
I like that idea.
Expound.
Because it allows you to not go not fully in necessarily like using the AI to then confuse people with Spark sites. Like you create its own storyline, then you test it with ads, and then and if I'm reading this right, then later introduce it into the Spark brand. But I like kind of like that runway of testing and seeing, hey, is something like this really gonna work? And maybe even being completely open about the fact, I mean, people will know it's AI, but just being like completely open about the fact that maybe that we're testing this concept or something along that, or not, or just seeing how it works. But I do kind of like the separation at first to see how it goes.
Mm.
Well, I mean, there's no harm in that because, I mean, honestly, the Spark Sites account can't get ruined. There's no traffic. There's next to no following. So, I mean, it can't hurt. to do a whole other account. I'd have to get my head around like what would the content then be, because the storyline of a young 20 something building a company, getting an SBA loan, getting bootstrapping, they do these appeals too that tend to get a lot of sympathy, especially if they're female. And that's, hey, I've started this company. Could you just do me a favor and share it with a friend as I'm trying to get it up and running? And so for me, it seemed like both a marketing experiment, but also a direct line of empathy for the entity itself. To create a whole other account around AI entrepreneur that's tech focused, now we're talking a different pillar of content that I have to ideate. We're talking about some other character. So now instead of consolidating efforts, I'm now adding an extra leg of effort, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Who keeps up with it? Like, say it was going to post to Spark Sites. Who keeps up with this story and these creations? Do we just tell AI to create all of the videos and just keep expounding on the story? Like, how does that even work?
Well, yes, with N8N and APIs, you could like craft a whole story arc, right? But that's one thought, but that's a little too much. It's kind of overkill. The idea is like, well, if we keep telling clients and each other, hey, sit down for half an hour a day and create content. Well, in the half an hour that I spent on it, I created 4 reels with this person. So it's a prompt. So instead of writing a Microsoft Word document of the content, I just wrote a prompt in the vein of the story and just created the content. And I do think there has to be a reveal at some point. Like, hey, this is the experiment we've done, but only if I was like making a bag around. And even if I didn't make a bag, like if it was failing, I'd still probably find a way to hang it up and go, let's show you what we've done for the last 2 months or the last 3 months and, why it worked or why it didn't work. Jared says it also gives you an out. I'd blow up a channel to 20K in a niche and area where you want to get new clients and then run Spark ads to that new audience. You can have the avatar have a storyline that hits with people, but discuss AI and marketing. Interesting. It's cleaner. It's clean. I guess I would say I have less of a clear vision on how to execute this new AI entrepreneur, tech entrepreneur versus this storyline of this chick in my brain.
Maybe it's like the AI. I'm sorry. Maybe it's like the ads where you have multiple accounts, but the entrepreneur is in the plumbing business and the entrepreneur is going into the other trade business and they're telling their story about each of those and like which one generates the most engagement and sympathy or whatever that is. But I don't know. That sounds super complicated, but only because I'm not the one building out the AI like you are. So,
all right,
let's wrap up. We got here. We talked a little bit about the marketing update. We talked a little bit about the live workshops and why we're doing that and lives in general. What's been working for us, what hasn't, as we're going into the new year. And then, do you have any updates from the state of social media? Are you noticing anything that's worth sharing, Nicole?
What I'm noticing is that, and this may be based on talking to Elizabeth yesterday, but I think people are getting to the point that they know that they need to be on social media as well as posting updates. We even have Harborside, who's getting very serious about influencers and social media. And we have people who know that they've got to create a brand for their business. And so I don't know, maybe it's January, but I'm just feeling a big push of talking head content and the acceptance of that. And I think we're going to see more and more of people getting raw and authentic online, especially with kind of the world as it is right now. People are feeling more willing to share their viewpoint or their experience. And I think on the other end of that, people are more willing to accept that. So I think we're just going to see a lot more raw, authentic talking head content as we move into 2026.
And I think that also kind of caveats or bookends the idea about lives. There's nothing, I think, I mean, you can go scripted live and you can have like high production, and we should probably improve our production, like our microphones and all this BS. You know, we should have that nailed in, dialed in, especially because we're in the same studio and the background noise and all. So yeah, but I think that authenticity is where it's at. And to put a pin on that, Jared says, I think people work with Sparks because they trust y'all. And I think an AI avatar muddies that. Also, you just ranted about AI not being human enough. And that's true. If I were to go this route, I'd be solving for a different problem than relatability. It would mainly be the muddying of my personal brand. How do I launch a coaching brand when I really still have to work 60 hours a week in a website company? That's a very difficult thing to do, especially when I'm the personality on that website company. And the other thought is, how can I create a character for Spark Sites that is more empathy worthy than just yet another white gringo male yelling at them to buy my services? What?
You're really caught up on this. You're really caught up.
Undeniably, people work with Spark Sites because they trust us, but how quickly they would do that for the female voice versus how long I've had to work for this. Zig Ziglar, I'm sorry, wasn't Zig Ziglar, it was Billy Graham.
Oh, sorry, I'm totally muted there. One of the big sorry about that. One of the biggest challenges, what I had said there was Billy Graham's ministry. Basically, he said that the biggest challenge he had was that he named his ministry after himself, and then when he died, the ministry ended. And the challenge that Nicole and I face is that we are entrenched in our companies, and people do like and trust us, but that is a double-edged sword. And the living example I was going to give was when Amber, our awesome production manager, who runs basically the entire guts of the company, when she has a client that won't respond, if I pick up the phone and get them to respond, they'll respond. And that's awesome, except that keeps me in production nearly another 10 to 15 hours a week. Hey, Grant, by the way, and maybe you should text this person because they're not responding to me. And it is a true limiting factor. And so the idea that, is AI the right call? No, let's do an employee. Well, I can't do that budget wise, but I could budget an AI employee. And so when it comes to that, I think over some story arc. In fact, I met another Kurt. I talked to Kurt Patterson this morning. We'll bleep that out for the long term. I don't know if he wants to share this, but he's interviewing someone with a long-term vision, a 4 to 5 year vision to onboard an assistant publisher who will then become a VP publisher, who will then take over as the publisher of their magazine. It's a 5-year story arc to build trust. Trust takes time. And I'm just wondering, is there any way with a more endearing storyline and a more endearing persona to do that in a fraction of the time that it took me to earn that trust? That's all. That's what I'm thinking. It's probably not good for the AI slop of the universe, but but it's a worthy experiment to report on. And with that, Nicole, parting thoughts.
We good?
I hope you guys come to our social media workshop. I think it's going to be a good show. I do.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. How many seats are available?
I put 25 because of 2 tables. There's probably more than that, but it's almost 10 people. So I think it's going to go quick. So hopefully, and they're going to be serving like a light breakfast. So, and I love that it's only 2 hours. It's going to go by quick, but you're going to get a ton of value. So yeah, join us.
All right. Thanks for stopping by. We'll catch you on the next live. Have a great Friday.